We'll call to order the Board of Zoning Appeals. If you'll please stand for the pledge. Bill, would you lead us in the pledge today?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Please remain standing for a moment of silence. Thank you. Call roll, please.
Gary Farley.
Here.
Amber Brown. Here. Jerry Sartain.
Here.
Joe Machado.
Here.
William Harper.
Here.
Renee Curtis.
Here.
Zane Cantrell.
Present.
We have a quorum.
Okay. You have the February the 10th meeting minutes. Are there any changes or additions to the minutes?
I move to accept
Have a
as
motion that be
presented.
approved?
Second.
Second. Call roll, please.
Gary Farley.
Yes.
Amber Brown. Yes. Jerry Sartain.
Yes.
Joe Machado.
Yes.
William Harper.
Yes.
Renee Curtis.
Yes.
Zane Cantrell.
Yes. In pursuant to Governor Lee's executive order, it is necessary to conduct this meeting electronically in order to protect the health, safety, and welfare. Do I have a motion to that effect? So moved. Have a motion? Do I have a second? Call roll, please.
Gary Farley.
Yes.
Amber Brown. Yes. Jerry Sartain.
Yes.
Joe Machado.
Yes.
William Harper.
Yes.
Renee Curtis.
Yes.
Zane Cantrell.
Yes. At this time, we still don't know whether next month will be under electronic meeting or not. At this point, the governor has not lifted that order unless some of you know something.
The executive order, it ends on April the 28th, as far as we know right now. April the 28th.
April the 28th. Okay. So that'll be after our next meeting. The first item on our agenda, Ryan Smith, has been delayed till next month. Okay. The first item then we have is a request by Roland Reyes, who has asked for a special exemption approval establishing an accessory building. What do you have on that, please?
Thank you. Application 2021-008, filed by Rolando Reyes, involves a property at 3412 East Main Street. They are seeking a special exception approval for the establishment of an accessory dwelling unit involving a property located in the RM zone. And Mr. Reyes purchased the property in 2018 with multiple outbuildings as well as 2 single-wide mobile homes in addition to the existing single-family home. And the site is 0.95 acres. And Mr. Reyes is in the process of cleaning up the site. From what we understand, one of the outbuildings has been demolished, and it is the 2 single-wide mobile homes will be removed from the site. Mr. Reyes would like to rehabilitate the existing structure here on the property, where you can see the arrow, and live on the property himself. The site, when Mr. Reyes initially came in, we tried to do some research to try and understand how multiple dwellings were located on this property. Usually when we encounter these situations, there's an old conditional use file or some record that they had received approval. We were able to uncover 3 septic permits that were issued for this site, but no evidence of any prior zoning approvals. So the next step was to consider it a grandfathered use. So we talked to the applicant, and he and he indicated that he was not absolutely certain when the last time someone lived in one of the second dwelling. So we recommended that he go to the utility company to see if we could find evidence that the second unit was inhabited within 30 months. We would consider it grandfathered, and he would be able to move forward. He brought the information back. It exceeded 30 months since someone had lived in the second residence, and so he is coming before you today to be able to reestablish that second residence. And the reason he couldn't go do it by right is because he's less than 1 acre. And so our requirements are such that those ADUs that are located on less than 1 acre must obtain special exception approval. So we found that the request meets the criteria for special exception. Now, we have received a call in opposition, and I believe we will have someone join us tonight to speak during the public hearing. These are photos of the surrounding area, as well as we posted the sign at the site. And that concludes our presentation.
Do we have anyone here representing this request? Is anyone online to do this?
Mr. Reyes, hi. Would you like to speak to the board?
Come on around. Come to the podium. Around this way.
What I need to say?
Do you have anything you want to add to this request?
No.
No?
No.
Do we have any questions?
No. Oh. So,
How long have you owned the property?
it's been about 2 years, something like
years.
that. Maybe a little less, something like that, I don't know.
And when you bought the property, this is the way it was when you bought it?
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
You have every intention of removing the 2 trailers?
Yeah, we're ready to remove them.
I see.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Any other questions?
Which, I just want a point of clarity on what has been removed. Which mobile homes have been removed?
It's, yeah, that one and that one.
Okay.
Yes.
And those are gone?
Yeah,
at this
that's
point?
gone.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
I need to still remove little debris, but they almost gone. Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you. You may be seated.
Thank you.
We'll open this for a public, go ahead. You may go, you may sit down.
Okay, thank you.
We'll open this for a public hearing for anyone who'd like to speak on this. Any call-ins?
I would like to speak on it.
Okay, go ahead.
I'm Mr. Reyes' neighbor. I live at 3414, and I've lived there for 3 years. He actually bought the property a few months before me. He renovated it for a while, but I've had nothing but problems living next door to his property. Over the last 2 years, his tenants have done nothing except trash the entire property inside and out. Their trash is constantly blowing over into my yard. It's been an absolute nightmare. I'm the one that called codes on them and got this whole process started with them taking the trailers out because I'm in the process of trying to sell my house, and I can't really sell my house, and it's hurting my property value living next door to his property. We have an easement on our driveway. But I didn't have a driveway when I bought the house, so there's an easement saying that I have access to use his driveway for entering and exiting my property. The people that currently live there have probably 10 to 15 people living in that 3-bedroom house. And there's usually between 10 and 15 cars in the driveway. So when they first told me, when I first saw the sign for the zoning, and they told me what he was, trying to do, my first thought was, there's already 10 to 15 people living on this property. I don't know how they're going to fit any more people. But the dwelling that's back there that's being discussed, no one has lived in that house. Like I said, I've lived there for 3 years. No one's lived in that house well before I moved in. When I bought that house, the property next to him I actually kind of took a peek back there because nobody lived back there, and that house is nothing but 2x4 joists with plywood up. There's no outside walls or insulation. It has a metal roof. It doesn't have any windows or doors. Not even all of the sides have plywood. It's got no floor. It's not an inhabitable dwelling. And I bring this to you guys because my thought process is it's already been a nightmare for the last 2 years. It can only get worse if more people are going to be moving into this property. It can only get worse. And Mr. Reyes himself doesn't live on the property. I know that they told me he's thinking about moving in there, but he doesn't currently live on the property. And the tenants that live there now have told me repeatedly for months that they're in the process of buying it from him. They're in the process of buying the property. So I don't know exactly what he's planning on doing, but I've lived with this for 2 years straight, lived a constant nightmare of trash in my yard, blaring music, cars all the way down the driveway, the kids' toys in my yard, the kids in my yard. It's been horrible. And I can't imagine that letting him fix this up is going to help that situation at all. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? That was Mrs. Richardson. Anyone else? We'll close the public hearing.
Mr. Chairman, I got a question, I guess, to Tanya or planning department. First of all, can someone address what the lady just got through saying about the structure, been dilapidated and all this other stuff?
So if he decides to make that second structure, that structure in the middle of the property, a residence, building permits would be required. We would go through the approval process. If structural engineers were required, we'd do whatever it took to bring it up to code.
Okay. All right. If we, not saying we're going to or not, but if we were to deny this request tonight, what would have to be done if we denied it?
We would not be able to issue a zoning compliance form for the rehabilitation or rebuilding that structure that's on site that he has identified as the potential ADU.
So, with that being said, would the property continue to look like it is now if we denied it, most likely? Would that be a true statement?
You made a good point. I think with approval, you'll get more control of it.
I guess that was why I was asking the questions, to see if we approved it, the neighbor's going to get more out of it, and it's going to look better than denying it. So, I understand. I feel for what she's saying.
We'll let the warden take care of it.
Yeah. Yeah. So.
There's not a whole lot that codes can do. We can't dictate how many people can live in a house. We can't dictate if people park their cars in the driveway. So there's not a whole lot we could do about that end of it. But certainly, if he was to rehabilitate this house, that would be something we would oversee and ensure that it was done to code.
Right now, you can't do nothing.
Short of that, once the mobile homes have been removed, the second structure has already been removed. Short of that, there's not a whole lot left that's in violation.
Jerry has a question.
If we approve this and at some point they determine that that structure they're not able to rehabilitate it, would they still be allowed to tear it completely down and start from scratch and build another?
If you were to approve it, yes. He would have to obtain a permit for whatever work.
It would have to meet codes and all of those things. It's going to have to meet codes anyway, right?
Regardless, correct.
Okay, thank you.
Amber, did you have? Okay, I'll entertain a motion on this.
Mr. Chairman, with all due respect, I feel for the lady that called in, but I think the best case scenario would be to approve this request so we can actually move more into a positive situation.
Move it be approved.
Move it be approved.
Second.
Okay. That was second. Any further discussion?
Yes, could we put in there, would they agree in their motions that the trailer removal be part of that?
I'm agreeable to that.
Okay. Anything else? Call the roll, please.
Gary Farley.
Yes.
Amber Brown.
Yes.
Joe Machoto,
Yes.
Jerry Sartain,
Yes.
William Harper,
Yes.
Renee Curtis,
Yes.
Zane Cantrell.
Yes. It is approved. The next item is a request by Scott Martuk, and he's requesting an accessory structure before the principal structure is built. What do you have on that, please?
Thank you. Application 2021-009 involves a property at 1013 Rhonda Drive. Mr. Maddock is seeking special exception approval for the establishment of an accessory structure before the principal structure for a property located in the RM zoning district. This is a 14.5-acre property located in the Lewisdown subdivision. A lot of the stormwater retention areas that serve the subdivision are located on this property. The applicant recently purchased it with the intentions of building...
I have to vote.
Did they vote?
Go ahead.
Oh, okay.
Just came in over this.
Oh, okay. The applicant purchased the property recently with the intentions of building a 3,100 square foot home upon his daughter's graduation from high school, who attends Smyrna High School. So I'm assuming they do not want to move her from her high school to move to this particular site, but the applicant still needs to maintain the site until they do construct the primary residence. They are seeking to construct a 36 by 54 or 1,944 square foot garage that will be used for personal storage of lawn equipment to maintain the property, as well as personal storage. We did receive one phone call inquiring about the zoning sign, and once they were informed what the applicant was requesting, they indicated that they had no opposition to the request. And these are pictures of the site. It's a large site. Homes in this area are being constructed, especially along this cul-de-sac, are under construction. So, let's see. And the applicant has taken into account the drainage easements that are located on the property when placing the garage structure, as well as anticipating the future location of the home. And these are elevations of the structure that the applicant plans to erect. And that concludes our presentation.
Do we have anyone here representing this? This is a call-in?
Yes, sir. I'm online. Would you like video as
Anything you
well?
want to add to this?
Yes, sir. I'm online.
Yeah, go ahead.
My name is Scott Maddock, and we intend on building this property, hopefully pull permits, either later this year, possibly within the next 12 months to 18 months. Not really sure if we're going to have her drive her senior year, or if we're going to wait until she's actually done with her high school before we build our dream home on that particular piece of property. We're asking for the exemption because we'd like to be able to erect the garage building just for storage. I'm getting a little tired of driving my tractor back and forth on the trailer from Smyrna every weekend in order to do the improvements that we'll want to do in mow grass.
What kind of storage? What kind of...
Primarily just the tractor and all the implements that I have. I wished I would have provided some pictures prior to. When we purchased it in October of last year, it was basically really overgrown. Nobody had really done anything with it. And so, like I said, we've done significant rehabilitation on it, cleared out some of the woods, picked up all the debris that was laying around, and I just like to keep it maintained until we actually are ready to move out there.
Okay, thank you. Any questions? Thank you. We'll open this for a public hearing for anyone who'd like to speak on this. Any call-ins? Close the public hearing. Do I have a motion on it?
Move to approve.
Have a motion that be approved. Do we have a second?
Second.
Have a second. Call the roll, please.
Gary Farley,
Yes.
Amber Brown,
Yes.
Joe Machoto,
Yes.
Jerry Sartain, William Harper,
Yes.
Renee Curtis,
Yes.
Zane Cantrell.
Yes. Scott, it is approved. Do we have anything else to come before the BZA? No, sir. You are adjourned. Thank you, everybody.